A top FBI agent, Peter Strzok, pulled from the Mueller probe after sending anti-Trump and pro-Clinton text messages. Turns out this agent was involved in both the Russia collusion and Clinton email probes.
That's right. House Intel Chair Devin Nunes outraged, saying, quote, by hiding from Congress and from the American people, documented political bias by a key FBI head investigator for both the Russia collusion probe and the Clinton email investigation, the FBI and DOJ engaged in a willful attempt to thwart Congress's constitutional oversight responsibility.
Here to react is Fox News anchor Gregg Jarrett. Let's talk about this. I mean, does this really undermine this new news, the entire Mueller investigation?
It does. Look, it had already, its credibility called into question as, corrupt and prejudiced. Mueller stacked it with Democratic donors. Mueller himself, under the statute, is required to disqualify himself. He didn't do it. So is Rod Rosenstein, the Deputy Attorney General. He's both prosecutor and a witness in the case. Both of them should be nowhere near this investigation, and yet they're intimately involved in it. And now we know, an FBI agent was sending out anti-Trump emails. That guy should have never been on this investigation. He should never have been involved in the Hillary Clinton investigation. And in fact,
he's one of the interview.
Yeah, he did the interview. And he was also involved in Comey's drafting of the statement of exoneration of Hillary Clinton months before she ever sat down for the interview. So it was a setup, and it was probably, in my judgment, obstruction of justice in the Hillary Clinton case by Comey and perhaps others. They were interfering in the due administration of an investigation.
Well, wait a second. James Comey's on Instagram and Twitter talking about truth, justice, and the American way.
He doesn't know anything about any of those subjects. He is the most insufferable, self-righteous person I think I've ever covered. And he's also a guy who appears to have committed a myriad of crimes. He stole government crimes. He stole government documents and conveyed them to somebody who wasn't authorized to see him. That's a violation of the
go-between who then leaked
when he was
right,
the leaker.
and then leaked it to the media. That, as I look at the statute, is a crime.
So this Peter Strzok, FBI agent who was dismissed 6 months ago, we knew that he was dismissed from the Mueller probe. We didn't know why. Why has it been so difficult to find out the real there?
Because the Department of Justice, the FBI, and to some extent Robert Mueller, have been trying to hide it from Congress. And that constitutes contempt. Chairman Nunes of the House Intelligence Committee needs to pursue the contempt citation, have Congress vote on it, refer it to a federal judge for prosecution against Rod Rosenstein and Christopher Wray, the FBI director, because they're the ones who've been obstructing it. And I guarantee you this FBI agent, Peter Strzok, when he's put under oath, will invoke the Fifth.
We've got a minute. Let's talk about the impact of Flynn pleading guilty to lying to the FBI. A crime, as you know, obviously, but we had Alan Dershowitz on yesterday saying that everyone's hyperventilating about this, but he thinks it actually shows that the Mueller probe is sort of, hitting, if not a dead end, that it's not going anywhere in terms of obstruction, because that's the best he has, is lying to the FBI. Important, but that it's not going to lead to obstruction.
What's interesting...
Or collusion.
Flynn, well, there's no such thing as collusion in a political campaign. It's not a crime. It's only an antitrust law. Look, Flynn lied about something that's not a crime. It's not a crime to talk to the Russians in a transition period before inauguration. Every incoming president and his transition team does it. I've heard some talking heads say, oh, it's a violation of the Logan Act. That's preposterous. First of all, the Logan Act has been regarded by the federal courts as unconstitutional. And even if it's a valid law, there was no violation of the Logan Act because Flynn and the transition team were not acting as private individuals under the act, but as a representative of the incoming president.
We appreciate you bringing these facts to the table this morning.